All right, you asked for it. We're taking a look at the Bob Ross Master Paint Set. We're gonna cover what's included in the updated new version of this box, talk about the tools and brushes that come along with it and how to use them, and we're gonna even go over the reimagined, reworked oil colors that are in this kit. That's right, we're going over all of it, so let's get going. Hey, what is up all you awesome artists? Wild here. Just to let you know, this video is based on the brand new and updated Bob Ross Master Paint Set. So without further ado, here we go. All right, let's take a look at our updated Bob Ross Master Paint Set. As we remove the lid here, the first pieces that you'll notice are the pamphlets at the top. This pamphlet over here will describe exactly what comes in the kit and how to use it. However, I'm gonna do a better job of that, so let's get rid of it. The next thing is the Bob Ross Master Paint Set step-by-step instruction booklet. And I actually do really like this because it actually has bigger pictures in this updated version, and the pictures are actually way more clear. They have a lot more clarity. They describe exactly what you need to do, and I would say the best part is it comes in multiple languages. This is a good, strong win. After that is the Bob Ross Follow Along DVD that'll take you through some paintings that you can do with Bob Ross. However, this isn't really needed because you can just go to YouTube and pick on any painting you want to do with a follow along tutorial, or better yet, shameless promotion, follow along with Wild Creates and do one of my simple paintings that is way easier to give you more confidence. Let's start with the top here and work ourselves across the tools. You're gonna see that you get a fan brush that is from the Bob Ross company. That's a number 6, which is one of their larger fan brushes. And I actually think this fan brush looks exceedingly good and feels well when painting. It's still a little soft, but has enough bounce. And at the ferrule here, all the hairs are nice and collected for making trees or blending in any type of cloud or soft blending between gradients that you may come across. Next, we have our Bob Ross palette knife. Now let's just go ahead and open this right here. Now this is a number 10 palette knife, which is the large palette knife, which allows you to put in things like your mountains, cut in water lines, or scrape away paint. You can use the large edge here to cover a bigger surface, or the smaller edge here to cover smaller surfaces. There isn't much of a change from this knife on the last one to the updated version in this one. Still has the same tapering of the handle, feels comfortable in my hands, which I greatly appreciate, and it seems like it's got the same flexibility. Some people have told me that this edge side is built differently from the past models to this model, but I don't really notice a difference. However, I do feel like the wooden handle is slightly different. I don't know if it's a different type of wood, but it feels actually lighter. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but when I use this knife, it works just as well as my older model. So this gets a pass. Next, we have our Bob Ross Script Liner brush, what I consider to be one of the hardest brushes to use in the Bob Ross kit. Now, this is for putting in finer details like waterwork or adding tree branches or even adding details on tree trunks or smaller things that you just want to add a little bit of a dot. Now, this is a full synthetic brush. At least I believe it's full synthetic when I look at it. These hairs don't look natural to me, but that's completely fine for the small detail work that you'll be doing. I do appreciate how clean and slick the brush is, feels comfortable in my hands, and I would say this is just as good as the last one, even though it has synthetic fibers here at the end. More on that in just a little bit. As we continue to work our way down, we have our 1-inch and 2-inch brushes. Now, these are exactly the same as I can feel from my last Bob Ross brushes in my kit that I bought. These handles actually feel stronger than this handle here, which is weird. I feel like this actually has a stronger, I don't know, paint coat or plasta dip on the handle here, which I appreciate more. And the ferrules feel the same and the hairs are nicely stacked. However, the biggest difference that you're going to notice on this kit here is these brushes are no longer natural bristle brushes. That's kind of a disappointment since Bob would always say you need a good natural bristle brush. However, when it comes to synthetic hairs now, they have made leaps and bounds. They're no longer crappy made fibers. They're actually pretty good and close to natural hairs, and some would actually say they're better than natural hair. So I won't put that as a negative to this brush. However, I do think it goes against what Bob was preaching. Now, when I use these brushes, they work perfectly fine. You can pull paint, blend gradients beautifully, and stack layers on top of layers. Takes a little practice because I have noticed with the synthetic hairs that they do have a tendency to fray out and bend a little bit more. So you may be required to shape your brush after cleaning every time or shave a couple of hairs off. Now, the biggest thing that I've noticed about these brushes is the fact that hairs fall out of them constantly. In fact, they fall out of them almost to the point where it annoys the heck out of me. So what you need to do is make sure that the minute you get these brushes, you want to clean them thoroughly. Put some Dawn dish soap, use a conditioner, beat them, pull some of the hairs away from the furl so that way it gets all those loose hairs out. And if you notice that yours aren't crimped that well, you may want to crimp them a little more with extra pressure. That's a little more of an advanced tip, but I really recommend that you go through before painting these and make sure you remove all the extra hairs, because I did a painting and I had probably about 20 hairs fall out and it was annoying as heck. So make sure you do that. But all in all, the brushes still work perfectly fine. I would say they're a little bit of a downgrade from the past kit, but for any new painter out there that's starting their wet on wet adventure, these brushes will work perfectly fine. Now let's work our way to the paint. When you get to the liquid white in the bottom corner here, you want to make sure that you give it a good shake. And I do mean an extremely good shake, because when you first get it, you're going to have all the liquid medium separated at the top and all your pigment sitting here at the bottom. And you don't want that. So make sure you shake this extremely, extremely well. Now, I have noticed, I feel like the liquid white has actually gone through a downgrade. When you take it and you pour a little bit out, like I have on this paper plate here. In fact, let me zoom in and make sure I am focused on it for all of you. It is extremely liquidy. It's not as creamy as it used to be. Now, we can fix this by adding some titanium white, or if you want some zinc white, if you have some laying around, to make it extra creamy. This still works perfectly fine, but it's kind of a disappointment, the fact that this doesn't do as good as past versions. I mean, all it is your medium and pigment, so you think they could keep the formula the same. It still works, but I have noticed, again, that is a slight downgrade, which kind of bothers me. Now we get to the colors. The biggest problem in the past when it came to these kits is the fact that all the people out there would review this kit and complain about how oily these colors were. Now, these are specially formulated for wet on wet. Let me make sure I make that abundantly clear. However, in this kit here, I have heard through the grapevine that the BRI company has reworked these paints for the new kit from feedback from CRI artists, and they have made them firmer. And I will say that all of these colors that are in here are firmer. So that makes me really, really happy. You will notice the colors come out thicker, stick out from the tube, and are vibrant, but yet still soft with a firm texture to them. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but when I mean soft, I mean how it looks when it's applied to the canvas. These have vibrant colors that have a lot of clarity to them, but still give you that soft appeal, which is great for when you do skies and gradients and pull colors across other layers. Now, the colors you get in this kit are titanium white, cadmium yellow, bright red, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, sap green, Van Dyke brown, and midnight black. All these colors here is everything you'll need to complete a handful of wet on wet paintings. And I must say, I have always been a fan of the Bob Ross color science that they have with all of these colors. I find them bright, vibrant, and soft, and I love that within my paints. I would have to say these paints are a win on the upgraded formula that they have done. All right, so do I recommend the updated version of the Bob Ross Master Paint Set? Yeah, I do. For only $80, this is a fantastic deal, and I recommend anyone that wants to paint like Bob Ross or start their wet on wet adventures, get this kit. It's only $80 USD on Amazon, and you get all the tools, paints, and colors necessary to start that adventure. It's a great deal, even if I think it's a little bit lower in quality. Now, I do have two problems with this kit. In fact, let's just get it out of the frame really quick. The two problems I have to do with two colors. I believe the Midnight Black is way too oily. It should be firmer because you're generally gonna use that as a foundation color that you're gonna put midtones or highlights on top of. It's really hard to work with in my personal opinion. Number 2 is the Titanium White is way too smooth, buttery, and creamy. And for anyone that's starting out that wants to make paint break, it's almost impossible with having a really diligent hand. Even I had trouble with it my first few times trying to make it break. You really have to dry it out or work out the excess paint on the canvas so that way there's more toothing for the knife and the canvas and the paint to grab so it creates those beautiful breaks. That's a little more advanced for anyone that's starting off. So what I recommend is actually buy an extra tube of Winsor & Newton Titanium White. It is one of the best paints that I've found that is extremely firm and it's super easy to make paint break. So that's what I would do. If you plan on getting this Bob Ross Master Paint Set or Kit for yourself or as a gift for someone, you can do me a huge favor and use my affiliate links down below. They cost you nothing and they really help out my channel, so thank you very much. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and leave me an awesome comment. Now, if you do end up getting the kit, you want to paint something that's going to build your confidence with wet on wet painting, which is why I recommend checking these videos out over to the side. And if you need more tips, hey, I'll put another video down there for you. I'll check you all later. Take care. Enjoy your wet on wet painting. And trust me, you're going to have a lot of happy accidents. Peace.